Okay, so in the last class, we were discussing about black box testing techniques. So the one of the important black box testing techniques is boundary value analysis, and that's for analyzing the size of the field. And second is equivalence class partitioning, that is to analyze the type of the field. So the field validation is important part of the testing. So in some projects we have separate testing for this, which is called input validation. Okay, so that will still fall into one of these categories. Functional testing itself, usability testing still is for the look and feel, but functional testing, as we have seen, this is categorized into smoke testing and functionality testing, the second one, right? So I can say I can even subdivide this functionality testing into two parts: input validation testing and regression testing. So mainly we will be dealing with these two, smoke testing or sanity testing. So smoke testing, like I explained you before, majorly should be testing the important aspect of the functionality or application in terms of front end, back end, or web services. Whereas functionality testing is to check the main functionality in detail. So this is just in brief, this is in detail. So again, we are saying there are two sub parts of this, which is input validation testing. Mainly this is for like field validation, more majorly using the BVA and ECP. And regression testing is like end-to-end testing. So I can actually put it as the next line. So I'll put the Roman symbols instead of ABC. So input validation testing, majorly, like I said, should test the field validation. So whatever is field validation set by the BA and developer or database administrator, that we need to check. So majorly just test on this, or you can also make it part of regression testing itself. So this is not mandated to be separate thing. So either regression testing or input validation testing and regression testing. So but regression testing is mainly for end to end testing. Okay, so in interview questions they might ask what is end to end testing. So end to end testing means it involves front end plus back end plus web service. So everything put together is called end to end. So you need to put validations for front end, back end, and web services at regular intervals. Okay, so this is going next line. So what I'll do is I'll put number 2, or you can call in trend like this also. Okay, so coming back to the boundary value analysis and equivalence class partitioning analysis. For one example, username we have already done, and I also asked you to do the same analysis for second example on password. So anybody has done? Let's see. Any questions so far? Did anybody has done on your own? I mean, you don't have to send it, but you must have done on your machines, right? Okay, so without looking at the email, I'll just explain this here. That's easier. So password, the requirement says password should be minimum 5 characters and maximum 30 characters, and nature of the or type of the password should be alphanumeric and special characters. Okay, so it doesn't say there should be minimum 1 capital letter and minimum 1 special character. So that could be different requirement. But in this case, it can have alphanumeric and special character. So always read the wording. So it does not necessarily be having these alphanumeric and special. So it can have or it may not have. So even if it has, there is no issue. Oh, so it says at least 1 capital letter. So there you go. So come up with the BVA and ECT. So BVA, when I do, I always do it on size. So 5 range is 5 to 30. So minimum, maximum, maximum plus 1, minimum minus 1, minimum plus 1, and maximum minus 1. So already you know. So 2 cases will always fail, and rest of the 4 cases will always pass. That is standard. And ECP is on 3 things. One is alpha, then second is number, and third is special. So alpha again we can divide into lower and upper cases, and we can also mix and match alpha numeric. So that's exactly what I did. Alpha numeric. So numeric only. Let's start with let's start with lower alphabetic. So test data is like this, and the result is fail. Why? Anybody can tell? Anybody? Why is this?
I mean, you need number. You need number and capital letter and a special.
Not really. So your part of answer is correct, not the whole. Number not necessarily, and capital is the only mandatory thing. So at least 1 capital letter. So let's change the wording. That's why I said wording is important. Special character with at least 1 capital letter. So number not necessary, and alphabets not necessary, special characters not necessary, but it must have at least one capital letter. So that's why it's failed. And let's take a numbers only. So this is also fail scenario. Why? Anyone else? Why is this a fail scenario? Because
it says at least 1 capital letter.
Right, that is missing. So good job. And all capital letters, I'm passing this as a password. So will this be pass data or fail data? Why it is already mentioned pass. Why it is a pass test data? Anyone?
Yeah, because it says 5 to 30 characters. It doesn't mention that it should be number or letter. And the another part is at least 1 capital letter, and it has all of them a capital letter.
Correct. So that is successfully meeting this criteria. So it's a pass. So I take mixed alpha letters. So this is the type I'm saying, and I actually fix the size because I cannot vary the size. Size is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters, which is always pass scenario because 5 and 6. So minimum plus 1 is always pass scenario. So I'm fixing this. We can also mix and match the size and type, but that will be too cumbersome. So in real time, we can mix and match. So mixed alpha, this also has capital 1 capital letter. That's all we need. So that is pass. And this is fail because there is no at least 1 capital letter. So first and foremost, I'm looking at the must scenario. Must is 1 capital letter at least. Even if I more than 1, that's fine. But no capital letter is fail definitely. So this is also pass because this is not. This is pass. This is pass. This is not pass because there is no 1 capital letter at least. And this is also pass because this is a realistic password. So with a capital letter and small letters, numbers, and special characters, it is also pass because it has at least 1 special, at least 1 capital. Okay, so that's this thing. What is that we are discussing actually? We are discussing about the functionality testing, right? Smoke testing actually includes what? Important features only, important functionalities only. It should not take more than 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Okay. Now input validation, we will definitely apply BV and CP. So what about the regression testing? How often we need to run? So let's discuss that. So regression testing, by the very meaning of it, you go back and regress it. And what does it mean? We will discuss more in detail in STLC, which is also known as software testing lifecycle. Right now we are discussing about software development lifecycle, which is SDLC. So just to give you a brief introduction about regression testing. So it's the opposite of smoke testing, or it's a complement of smoke testing, in the sense that smoke test only covers few features, whereas regression testing covers entire functionality. Should be tested thoroughly. That's the main thing. And the examples of regression testing are system integration testing and end-to-end testing. Okay, so system integration testing is because system and integration with web service and database, everything is included. So you also call it end-to-end testing. So because these are just synonyms. And